Well, hello once again. Yes, this is me, Leonard Wells, broadcasting as usual from HASLINGDEN, north of Manchester in the UK, on Thursday, the 5th of January 2011. This is another episode in my series, The United States of Europe. Today we're looking at Norway. I had an accident and for some reason deleted my previous video on Norway, so apologies for those of you who've clicked on the link on my website www.useurope.eu and found that it had been deleted. So I'm doing this again today. So apologies once again. What can one say of Norway? It's a huge country, tiny population by comparison to the UK. Part of it is way up in beyond the Arctic Circle. So of course it has that period of darkness for 6 months and then a period of light for 6 months, roughly. Norway was the home, as was Sweden and Finland of course, and Denmark, of the Vikings. And the Vikings were very brave guys, and gals of course, who sailed forth in their longships all the way around Europe, and as history has recorded, to Iceland, Greenland and America. It was originally called Vinland, which is where it came from. And these guys were so successful, they went around taking things that didn't belong to them. Not only did they take silver and gold from the churches, but one of their main preoccupations was slaves. Oh yes, and in fact they founded Dublin, and Dublin had one of the largest slave markets in Europe. And these guys captured Christians, and non-Christians as well, of course, from all over Europe, and sold them to the Muslim Empire, North Africa, and all the way down to Istanbul. They travelled across country down to Istanbul, using all the rivers, and then they would carry their ships and drag their ships. They were incredible characters. So many Christians spent most of their lives as part of the Muslim Empire. It's a very strange setup. But anyway, to come up more today, at one time Sweden and Norway were combined. At one time Sweden was very warlike and very efficient military. Sweden had. They used to battle with Russia. Anyway, eventually Norway and Sweden separated, and as we know today we have Norway, Sweden, Finland and Denmark, all separate countries. And in the 1960s Norway discovered gas and oil off the coast. And it's been their life-saving because they have made a great deal of money out of it. It's provided a great deal of resources for their infrastructure. It's made their petrol and gas relatively inexpensive. And they have put a great deal of the profits from this resource into a fund for their future. And they now have 1% of the entire assets of the entire world in that fund. And the left-wing political parties in Norway want to keep it that way and leave the money there for the future, while the right-wing want to spend it on infrastructure. So maybe between the two of them, they might produce some sensible way forward. Now, Norway, after a referendum, refused to join the EU, and it hasn't joined the Euro. It has joined Schengen, which means you can travel passport-free all around most of Europe, including Norway, and it has joined NATO. And many of the Eurosceptics in the UK point to Norway as an example of the sensible way forward. Well, Mrs. Thatcher used our profits from North Sea oil and gas to cut taxes for the rich. So we've got nothing in the bank. Anyway, that's another story. So, as we've read and seen on the TV recently, there was some terrible series of murders in and around Oslo by a lunatic who then attacked people camping on an island, on a holiday island. I think it was some 45, 50 people were killed. Terrible, terrible. And one other fact which might be of interest, apart from the oil and gas, they're very keen on whaling. Of course, being so close to the sea everywhere, they make very good sailors. During the war, of course, Hitler invaded Norway because he was afraid. He got a lot of his iron ore rather, from Sweden, and he attacked Norway to prevent Britain blocking that resource. And it was the fact that we attacked the Germans in Norway, and it was a bit of a catastrophe. The naval side was all right, but the army side was pretty bad. That the British Prime Minister Chamberlain was thrown out and Winston Churchill came to power. That's just a little aside. So that's Norway. Beautiful country, stunning country. Forests everywhere, fresh clean air. Most of the country hasn't been ruined by the motor car like a lot of the UK has. So that's it. God bless, while it's still legal here in the UK to say God bless. Take care and bye for now.